Ryan Parker had shared an apartment with his roommate, Lily Morgan, for nearly 18 months in downtown Seattle. They met through a mutual friend during a desperate search for affordable housing. What began as a practical arrangement slowly evolved into an easy friendship filled with late-night conversations, shared grocery runs, and countless cups of coffee. Lily was brilliant in many ways. She could fix a leaking faucet, negotiate impossible rent issues, and organize chaos better than anyone Ryan had ever met. Yet whenever relationships became the topic, she usually shrugged, changed the subject, or laughed awkwardly. Ryan assumed romance simply wasn't her strongest area in life. One Friday evening, they hosted a small game night for friends. Music played softly while pizza boxes covered the kitchen counter. During a conversation about dating disasters, someone asked Lily for relationship advice. She immediately raised both hands in surrender, making everyone laugh around the crowded living room table. Ryan grinned and teased, "Don't ask my roommate anything. She knows absolutely nothing about love." The room erupted with laughter. Lily narrowed her eyes dramatically and tossed a napkin at him, pretending to be offended. Ryan expected another sarcastic comeback, but instead she became unexpectedly thoughtful and unusually quiet for a moment. After their friends left, the apartment settled into comfortable silence. Ryan began cleaning dishes while Lily wiped down the table. The earlier joke still hung in the air. Finally, Lily leaned against the counter and asked, "Do you really think I know nothing about love?" Her voice sounded curious rather than hurt. Ryan laughed lightly. "I was joking. You avoid every relationship conversation like it's a tax audit." Lily smiled softly before walking to the refrigerator and returning with 2 mugs of hot chocolate. She handed one to Ryan, then sat on the counter with a calm expression that immediately caught his attention. "You're wrong," she said gently. "I know exactly what love looks like." Ryan raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Lily continued, "Love is remembering how someone takes their coffee without being asked. It's saving the last slice of pizza because you know they had a terrible day. It's noticing when they're pretending to be okay." Ryan slowly lowered his mug. Every example sounded strangely familiar. Lily kept speaking, her confidence growing with each sentence. "Love is waiting up when someone gets home late. It's learning their favorite songs even if they're not your style. It's making them laugh when they've forgotten how to smile." Ryan stared at her in silence. She wasn't speaking theoretically. She was describing countless moments they had shared over the past year and a half. Lily noticed his realization and smiled knowingly. "See?" she said softly. "I may not talk about love often, but I've been practicing it every day." His heartbeat quickened unexpectedly. "Lily," he began, but she gently interrupted. "Remember when you were sick last winter and I made soup for 3 days straight? Or when you missed your promotion and I pretended movie marathons were my idea just so you wouldn't sit alone feeling disappointed?" Ryan remembered every detail vividly. At the time, he had simply considered her a caring friend. Now, those memories appeared in an entirely different light. Lily looked down at her mug before adding quietly, "People think love is grand speeches. Sometimes it's just showing up consistently when nobody is keeping score." Ryan sat beside her on the counter, suddenly understanding why no relationship had ever felt as effortless as living with Lily. "You proved me wrong instantly," he admitted with a nervous laugh. "I made one joke, and you gave the most accurate description of love I've ever heard." Lily smiled, but there was vulnerability in her eyes now. "There's one more thing I know about love," she said softly. Ryan waited. She took a deep breath and continued. "It becomes terrifying when the person you care about most is also the person you're afraid of losing if you're honest." The meaning hit him immediately. Ryan set his mug aside and looked directly at her. "I've been afraid too," he confessed. "I kept telling myself we were just roommates because admitting anything else might ruin the best friendship I've ever had." Relief flickered across Lily's face like sunrise breaking through clouds. They talked for hours that night. Not about dramatic romance, but about honesty, timing, and how naturally their lives had already intertwined. They realized they had built a relationship foundation stronger than many couples ever achieve. Trust, respect, laughter, patience, and genuine enjoyment of ordinary moments together. Nothing changed overnight, yet everything changed at once. The next morning still involved coffee, grocery lists, and teasing each other about terrible music choices. The difference was that neither had to pretend anymore. Their friendship remained intact because it had always been the strongest part of whatever they were becoming. Weeks later, friends noticed subtle changes: lingering smiles, shared glances, and the way Ryan automatically reached for Lily's hand while crossing busy streets. When someone jokingly asked whether the relationship expert of the apartment had finally emerged, Ryan laughed and answered honestly, "Turns out my roommate knew more about love than I ever did." Lily squeezed his hand and whispered, "I told you." Ryan smiled, remembering his careless joke from game night. He had claimed she knew nothing about love. In reality, she understood it so deeply that she recognized it long before he did. And with a few simple sentences, she had changed both their lives forever.